Assalamu alaikum everyone. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri. Wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli waj'al li waziran min ahli. Haruna akhi ushdud bihi azri washriku fi amri kay nusabbihaka kaseera wa nazkuraka kaseera innaka kunta bina basira. Rabbi inni lima anzalta ilayya min khairin faqir. La ilaha illa anta subhanaka inni kuntu minaz zalimin. Wa sallallahu ala Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. All right, we will continue with the 11th ray from the books The Rays, the 7th topic. Continuation of the names of the verses that we studied. He is the first, the last, the inward, and the outward, or the evident and the inward. And seeing how man as well, how man, basically the qualities of man. Hold on one second, please. All right, I'm back. Yeah, so we were studying basically the definition of what human being is, who is endowed with all the tools for our spirit to be educated in this world. We went over an amazing, interesting definition of what man is, and we were going phrase by phrase. We went over like, okay, yes, we do have the tools, eyes, and our minds. We see, experience, and then we reason as a man, and why man is the comprehensive fruit of the tree of the universe. We discussed that. And in respect, man is the seed of the Muhammadan reality, where he benefits from what the Muhammadan reality represents. And last week we discussed the supreme sign of the Quran of the universe, which we discussed extensively on how basically the bodily needs, everybody is given, basically it's hardwired, but where is the human being needs guidance, or the spirit needs guidance, is where the soul and the spirit kind of benefits from it. And the next one I'm going to continue, and he is its throne verse bearing the greatest name. He is its throne verse bearing the greatest name. 1 second, please. He is its throne verse bearing the greatest name. Now this throne verse reminds me of the Ayatul Kursi, the throne verse. So man is the throne verse bearing the greatest name. And what do we understand by the throne verse? So the throne verse kind of, if I think about it, reminds me of the definition or the absoluteness of God, or the creator of the universe. Defines him, and then it goes into whatever you see in the universe. He is his throne sits on it. Basically, all the qualities on that individual or that being, that created thing, he owns it. He is the owner of it. He guides it, but his qualities are all sitting on top of it. So man is now said to be the throne verse bearing the greatest name. So if we can work on this together, what it means that, okay, so every individual, every created being is manifesting the qualities of its owner, its maker, its caretaker. And man is also one of those, of course, a created being, if we look at ourselves. So we also are the seat of the owner of the universe, where all his qualities are being manifested. And that's why man is said to be its throne verse, bearing the greatest name. So would anybody like to comment on this particular phrase? Or any first thoughts anybody has in terms of what they take away? For a start, we can work on it together, inshallah.
I'm just thinking about how this could be different from the way that we were defining supreme sign of the Quran, of the universe. Like, sure, the throne verse has specific mention of qualities and attributes, and there's it's a summary in ways too of divine attributes, but how significantly different would it be from saying that man is I see this as a continuation and emphasis on what we discussed when we were discussing man being the supreme sign of the Quran, of the universe.
Yeah, this was all definitely a continuation. Brother Ali, please go ahead. Brother Ali, you can unmute yourself.
Don't you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, thank you very much. So, throne verse is Ayatul Kursi, as you know, from the section Baqarah, verse 255. There, it is description of God from various aspects, describing who God is. Now, it is interesting, as Farah said, strong verse of the Quran of the universe is the human being. It means the universe is full of verses, but throne verse is the human being. It means God, if you like, discloses himself, teaches human beings actually, in the creation of human beings in the best way. So human beings can use themselves in order to understand who their creator, their existence is the best example of the description of God. Description of God, it means all names of God, not one of them most obvious The others are in the secondary level. No, all names are at the highest level manifested in the creation of human beings. So we have to really understand how precious we are in our creation and benefit from it. We can focus every human feeling to realize this human feeling is the representation, manifestation, the sign of God's name operating, reflecting in our existence at the highest level. We know, for example, in food, we understand in the creation of the food, the name of mercy, name of nourisher is highest manifestation there. We enjoy it. Beauty also, but somehow secondary. The other qualities also in the creation of food, anything edible, we see them, but one of them is manifesting itself at the highest level. For example, in the creation of the sun, the name Nur, making everything manifest, everything obvious, and also itself is clear for everyone that they understand where the sun is and what the sun is. We know that. But the other names are secondary. Whereas in the creation of human beings, all names are primary, but it needs focus. Inshallah, we will be able to utilize our existence so that we will be able to understand who our Creator is at the highest level, or as much as possible for a created being. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Ali. Okay, so human beings, mashallah, have the capacity to reflect all the names at the highest level. Would anybody want to continue or state anything? On He is its throne verse bearing the greatest name. Farah, go ahead.
I'm trying to reflect on this idea of the names manifesting in man at the highest level. So in one way, it can be understood that the highest level is referring to also the fact that all names are manifested without any difference or very, hierarchies between them. That's one way to understand the highest level, as in it's the manifestation of all the names with equal power or importance or whatever. The other way that I'm thinking, but I want to understand more of what we mean by highest, in the sense that I'm thinking that obviously it has to do something with the fact that a human being in the manifestation of the name or attributes of the Creator in something is also countered or part of that experience is also that the human being or the being that in which it is manifested also recognizes it, or confirms it within themselves. So and that is a function of consciousness, in the sense that a conscious being can be aware of itself and then confirm it. And so it's an active process of acknowledging an attribute and the source of that attribute. So is that what we mean by highest level, in the sense that it is a conscious, active confirmation and recognition of an attribute and its source in the human being? Or highest level is also perhaps, I mean, obviously we talked about this in some other session, about that the possibility of its complete manifestation, as in its perfection, in its most beautiful form, can be manifested in the human being. But again, why is that, and why and how is that possible, that the complete manifestation or its highest level of manifestation can happen in the human being? So yeah, I wanted to figure out what we mean by highest in these senses.
All right. So your question is, what is the highest level compared to like most other individuals or beings? I mean, man has certain qualities we can see more than a plant or an animal life, or the other skies or birds, whatever you may think of. So it's the comprehensiveness of the human being to comprehend the whole universe and make sense of it, which makes man the one of the unique recipients of guidance. And then to be able to decipher and to come up with the understanding and of all those qualities and names, to appreciate them. So let's say an animal can appreciate the food, and a human being can also appreciate the food. So I don't know exactly how the animal would appreciate it, but you can see how they enjoys, and you can, behave in a particular way after having that food. But a human being definitely has the consciousness, the senses, the feelings, the reasoning, where he can conclude about after eating the food, which is definitely going to be different than what the animal's appreciation of the food would be. So in that sense, man, human being, has one of the ways of expressing themselves and to reflect any quality at the highest level. But if that doesn't answer your question, I would refer it to someone else who would like to speak on it.
Another way to also ask is like, what does it mean if we say that man can manifest the quality of Nur higher than the sun? What do we, if we do say, make that claim, what do we mean by that?
So can you rephrase that? So basically make the claim of what?
Of if we say that man manifests the quality of Nur, right, higher than the sun, can manifest that quality. I mean, there is obviously, as we are discussing and you're highlighting too, some element of conscious acknowledgement of that quality that might have to do with its highest level of manifestation. But maybe if there is something more to the idea, like to saying that man manifests the quality of Nur higher than the sun manifests the quality of Nur, even though that is what we understand the sun to be, Nur. That's really what its, let's say, specialty is in that sense.
I see. Yeah. Brother Ali, go ahead, please.
That's a very, very interesting topic, actually, rather than the question, because we are studying it. We are not really interrogating each other. So that's a good point that we have to understand. Now, we have to understand that as soon as we start talking about the reflections of the creators, it means we are talking from human perspective. For us, as Farah said, the most important side of human being, self-consciousness. For example, through, just by the way, I am in brackets, I'm going to mention this topic. Self-consciousness, through the self-consciousness that human beings experience in their practical life, we understand that the creator also must be self-conscious. We cannot say how it is, because however I am experiencing in my own existence in the form of a reflection, because I didn't create, I cannot attribute the existence of self-consciousness to anything in the world, in the universe. Therefore, I understand that self-consciousness is given to me by my creator, reflecting his quality of self-consciousness. That's very interesting. And through the self-consciousness, I understand that the name Nur, the light, God is the light of everything, which means he himself is clearly understandable, and he himself makes other things also be understood. This Nur has two functions at the same time. We understand it. Of course, we should not reduce human existence to only bodily existence. Where is light in my body? No, but there is light in my memory, in my consciousness, in my conscience. Through all these qualities in my reasoning, through all these qualities, I understand, I realize the reality through my reasoning, my intelligence, for example, what the reality of the things are. They become obvious to me. Whereas sun only makes the outer forms of the creatures understood and observable. Consciousness makes the outward, inward, everything of the creatures, that they are manifesting the qualities of their creator. I can do this through my intelligence, or whatever you call it, consciousness, or through my conscience. These are, if you like, the manifestations of light in the creation of human beings. I, as a human being, am experiencing this. I am experiencing this. And I am witnessing that the one who creates me is the one makes himself so clearly, obviously understandable, and also makes other things to me, to human being. We have to look at the matter from my own perspective as soon as I start talking about reflection of the creator, of the qualities of the creator. So I can understand that my creator is making everything clear to me. And through my explanation, through my talk, through my reflections also, I can make the things be understood by other creatures. It means the result of Nur is manifesting within myself as I experience it at the best possible level that human beings can comprehend. But that's why the highest level is manifested in human being. Highest level of the qualities of the creator is manifested in the existence of human beings. I hope it makes somehow sense.
Alhamdulillah, that helps in terms of the self-reflection and seeing the one who endowed me with that makes me understand that. And Sohail has a comment. Sohail, would you like to speak on that? So Sohail, if you can unmute, or I can read your comment. So comment says, man can perceive all the names to an unending degree, unlike all other creatures. He is able to shine a light on the meaningful aspect of the world. Yep, thank you for that. Any other comment by anyone? Based on what has been said. All right, I think then we can move on to the next one. So man is the most honored guest in the palace of the universe. All right, so let's wonder, is that so, that man is the most honored guest in the palace of the universe? So such a huge palace, this universe that we live in, although we may be living in our own little world, but we open ourselves up to the reality of our existence and see the perspective of a bigger picture, like where our existence is, how are we here in this world, what is our purpose here. When we see that all these things, yes, definitely this world is huge, it's working amazingly, treating me with all sorts of different experiences. I'm able to get all the different resources from this universe, gas for my car, electricity, cooking, food, wood, house, shelter, fire, whatever we are all using, all the different parts of the universe, they're all at our service. And man is the most honored guest in this palace. All that for human being to be entertained, to be living as an honored guest. Definitely guest, because we know that this is not a permanent place. Although this palace of the universe seems wonderful, but we are here only for some time. That's why we are definitely a guest, and the most honored guest. I think it follows along with the same pattern of man being the fruit of the tree of the universe, and what we mentioned about man being the seat of all the qualities of the creator, and being able to manifest at the highest quality of all the names of the owner of this universe. And then man also the most honored guest in this palace of the universe. So would anybody like to comment on this phrase? Farah, go ahead.
The honor aspect of it is how we were discussing already, in the fact that the honor is in being given the ability to make sense or meaning of the experience for man himself and for all other beings in the universe. So the honor is that, you know, you're given the special access, I guess, if you think about honors that more worldly sort of settings, is some sort of special ability or some sort of higher access that is available to the human being in this universe. So the honor to me is the ability to make meaning for oneself and for others.
Thank you, Farah. Anybody else would want to comment on, do they feel that like an honored individual here? The most honored guest. All right. No pressure, whatever you feel like. Yeah, it's interesting how this world is set up, where we can make use of it. It's like as if it's all set up perfectly for our, for our livelihood, to make ourselves comfortable. That's how, like, we enjoy the sunlight, we enjoy the ocean side, we may enjoy the walking in the forest or hiking, looking at flowers, flowers smiling at us. So, I mean, all this setup is just tells you that somebody is really taking care of us in a way, by honoring us in a way so that we are comfortable and enjoy our existence, our lives here. Just by giving existence to us is another aspect, that we are witnessing all this and going through those experiences. Yeah, Shpesa, go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum. On the note of the most honored guest, I was also thinking about how, in addition to literally the universe kind of being spread out for us and being able to utilize everything and anything, and being situated in a place where it's made accessible to us and animals are subservient to us, and we're able to, I guess, in terms of like the physical, the order of the universe, we're able to utilize the universe. But at the same time, in addition to all of these things kind of being accessible to me, I have been given this capacity along the lines of what Farah was pointing on, the making things meaningful. So I have this capacity to consciously be in a state of communication with the one who is providing these for me, with the one who is situating me in such a place where I find myself even asking what's going on and who's behind the veil, and how is it that I am in such a place at this time and with these certain circumstances. So I think the ability, the consciousness that's given to me, and the ability to tap into or be open to and consciously being able to communicate with, turning my face towards my creator so that I can see my creator speaking to me and thereby responding back, I think is a specialty of an honored guest. Because, if, I don't know, if I'm invited somewhere very prestigious and like there's someone that's very of like utmost importance there, right? And if they spend like one-on-one time with me, that's something of like me being an honored guest, them spending that, you know, individualized specific time, that because of their rank, right, that it becomes an honor for me because of what they represent, or because of their prestige. So as being this physically insignificant seeming created being, I have this ability to turn to and speak to and communicate with the creator of this vast universe. And I think that conscious communication there, the ability to establish a relationship, thereby makes me as a human being, or the human being, the most honored of all guests. Otherwise, I can see, you know, a plant also being cared for, perhaps. And I don't know the level of consciousness of a plant, but as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't necessarily entail the same, I guess, faculties as myself. Or even like a cat doesn't have necessarily the same sort of self-consciousness that I might have. It doesn't really care. I have my cat going to the bathroom like anytime they want. They don't really care who's in the room whatsoever. So yes, that is all I want to say. Thank you.
That was funny. You know, the cat is the honored guest of the human being. You know, that reminded me. I had taking care of cats, and then when I fed them, they would caress me a little bit, come around me, and then they would go away. Let's hear from Brother Ali. Go ahead.
Actually, our friends explained very well, and H-Base also emphasized on the importance of everything is prepared for me, because I am the honored guest. It means if an honored guest is invited to a place, everything in that place is prepared for his service. That is emphasized by H-Beza and Farah. What I want to give a very, very simple example, if someone sets a library, I mean, the universe is a library, but library is not for the books. Library is the one who is going to utilize, as H-Beza beautifully put it, and Farah also, consciousness, human consciousness. If there was no human being who is going to read them, benefit from them, and reach a conclusion by studying them, by utilizing, of course, by utilizing the books there. Library is nothing. In and of itself, it has no meaning, no benefit to anyone else. So anything else. The other creatures are like books. The universe is a library where God's names are manifested in the form of books. Only human beings, as far as we are concerned, of course, there may be other creatures who are benefiting from them. It is not my concern. My concern is myself. When I look at the universe, I am reading them. I am utilizing and coming to a conclusion, and I am realizing what these books are written in them, what they include in them, what they are really teaching me. That's why human beings are the people, the human beings are like the people who are invited to the library in order to benefit from the whole library, all books of the universe, everything created in the universe. That is the honor. That's what I figured out in an example, how we should understand that we human beings are the honored guests of the universe.
Alhamdulillah, thank you for all those comments. All right, let's move on to the next one. The most active functionary, empowered over the other inhabitants of the palace. So the most active, functionary, empowered over the other inhabitants of the palace. I think we kind of covered that also a little bit. Human beings being the most active functionary and most active functionary, empowered over the other inhabitants of the palace. All right. Do anybody wants to make any comment on this? I think Bezos and comment and first comment kind of covered this with all the other creation, the animals, plants are at the service of human beings, and man is able to utilize them, function accordingly. So it's just another part of the honor that man has, and he's active in that sense.
Can I unfortunately, I am driving now. That's the only way to communicate with you and benefit from your. So there is raising the hand needs special attention, and I am just driving below almost 80, 90 miles an hour. So,
no worries, you're exempt from raising the hand. Go ahead.
Thank you. As far as you can hear me, and I'm hearing you well, alhamdulillah. So I understood what does active mean. Active in realizing. Active means being aware of its existence as well as the existence of other beings. In this case, we can compare human beings to angelic side of other creatures. As it is described in the Quran, angelic side of creation, or angels. Angels was the meaning of the things. Although the things, as I refer to the previous example, the books, the meaning must be aware of its own existence, but only it is everything is their angelic side is aware of their own existence, not the existence of other beings. Only the human beings. It is somehow a subtle subject that I hope, inshallah, it will make sense to you. Only human beings can understand and benefit from each of the book of the universe, carrying different meanings. Each of them is about different subject and different information, different knowledge about their creator. And we can read from one book, another book, and we can understand the manifestations of the qualities manifested in each being in the world by studying and seeing, realizing the qualities of creator in each being and continuously changing it from one point to another, from another point, yet another point. That means only human beings have the spectrum of understanding, the ability of understanding of all human beings, but the other creatures that are not subject are conscious of their existence only, not the existence of other beings, not and the manifestations of the qualities of their creator in the other being, only the manifestations of the qualities of the creator in their own existence. That is why human beings is the only most active being in the universe. That's how I understood it.
Thank you. So most active in comprehension, most active in realization of the qualities of what they're witnessing, what they're seeing, what they're benefiting from. And particularly the angelic side that you mentioned, which is the meaningful side of what's of the act in the universe, so of the books that we are reading. So in this library of the universe, all the beings being the books, man is the most active in understanding the meaning behind their being there. Okay, so any other comment before we move to the next one? So man is the official charged with overseeing the income and expenditure and the planting and cultivation of the gardens in the quarter of the earth in the city of the universe. The official. So man is the official charged with overseeing the income and expenditure and the planting and cultivation of the gardens in the quarter of the earth in the city of the universe. So man has, the way man is endowed with the way, the qualities he has been given, he's also an official in taking care of or overseeing all the things in the universe and not corrupting them, as we spoke about in the previous Sunday on all the corruption of the land and the earth and the seas that human being is doing. All human being is actually charged with taking care of them, seeing that they are gifts from the owner of the universe, whoever gave those creatures, those beings don't belong to us, but they have an owner. So human beings is the official charged in taking care of them. Yeah. Any comments by anyone? All right. So we can move on to the next one. That's an interesting one. Man is its most noisy and responsible minister. Most noisy and responsible minister, equipped with hundreds of sciences and thousands of arts. So man can be the most vocal, can express himself in all different sorts of, not only in voice, but in many other ways, can communicate in the most comprehensive way compared to any other creature, and is a responsible minister. So all the hundreds of sciences and thousands of arts that human beings are engaged with are all but the studying the books, the qualities of the one who has designed them, who has shaped them, formed them, who's the owner or order of the whole system of the universe. So man is the most noisy and responsible minister. All right, any comments on that one? Not, we can move on to the next one. So man is an inspector and sort of vicegerent of the monarch of pre-eternity and post-eternity, under his close scrutiny in the region of the earth, in the county of the universe. So man is the inspector and sort of vicegerent. Vicegerent of whom? The monarch of the universe, pre-eternity and post-eternity, under his close scrutiny or supervision in the region of the earth, in the country of the universe. So along the same idea of the official charged, the responsible minister, and now an inspector can investigate and further study all those arts and sciences and get to know and declare the greatness of the, or the absoluteness of the one whose work we are all studying. So an inspector and sort of vicegerent of the monarch of pre-eternity and post-eternity under his close scrutiny. All right, and let's move on to under his close scrutiny in the region of the earth in the country of the universe, and one with disposal over it, whose actions, particular and universal, are all recorded. And one with disposal over it, whose actions, particular and universal, whose actions, particular and universal, are all recorded. So man has having free will, makes decisions, choices, and then acts according to those choices. So he has completely free over disposal over his actions, either they be particular or universal, and they are all recorded. So it's interesting, one who has the disposal over all the things in the universe. So he has disposal over how he acts. So his free will is here. The one who has undertaken the supreme trust, from which the heavens and earth and mountains shrank. One who has undertaken the supreme trust, from which the heavens and earth and mountains shrank. I think we can speak to this one. This one's in, seems. I think it reminds me of the verse in the Quran, I think, which mentions about, you know, how the mountains shrank when the message is given to them, but only man is the one who takes the message. على جبل رأيته خاشعة تسجد من خشية الله. Yeah. لو أنزلنا هذا القرآن لجبل رأيته من خشية الله. Yeah, that verse. Brother Ali, go ahead.
So this trust is disputed over many scholars. What is this trust? There are many reasonable, acceptable interpretations of it. With Nursi, whose book we are reading, it says this trust is human ego. Human ego. What does it mean? I personally understand this human ego is the human free will with two options. One of them is confirming what is right, and the other one is rejecting what is right. It means choosing the wrong way or non-created way. So these options, giving this freedom of choice, is the trust. The other creatures, although of course the Quran speaks to human beings, although they seem to be so great, powerful in their existence, like mountains, like the skies, the stars in the sky, telling to human beings that, look, human beings, be careful. What God gave you, this freedom of choice, is so big of a so big of responsibility that even as you see that stars are great creatures, they shrunk from it, they avoided to accept it. What does it mean? As if God offered this trust to the mountains, for example. There's the Quran says it, and they said, no, 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 please, thank you, I don't want it. It is also the figure of speech. We understand that speaking to human beings, look, this responsibility is so great, so important. Be careful about it. Most of the time, we use our freedom of choice without realizing which kind of responsibility it is bringing to us. It is drawing our attention to the importance of being able to choose what is wrong. That is what we have to be very careful not to choose the wrong option. We have to be always on alert. Of course, it doesn't mean that we should be always uncomfortable and irritating positions. I may be doing something wrong. I may be doing something wrong. That is the extreme, how they say, sensibility. But it is the modest way or the moderate way of using it. Anytime we make important decisions about our choices, we have to know that the result of our choice will be put on our shoulders and we will be responsible for it. Watch out what the consequence of this choice will be for you. So you have to be extremely careful not to make a mistake in your choice. That is called consciousness of what you are doing. Then also consciousness of not choosing or making the wrong option, wrong decision. That is called in the Quran taqwa. Those people who are muttaqi, they are very much aware of the importance of making a decision in our choices and not to make a wrong decision, wrong choice. We have to be alarmed. You must have noticed that I didn't mention that we have to make the right choice. I said only, that is what I believe in my personal experience. I said only, be careful not to make a wrong choice, because this is the possibility that we may corrupt our true nature by making a wrong choice. Otherwise, the rest is automatically functions and will be the right choice. I have to watch out if I am doing something wrong or not. So if I am not doing something wrong, I am automatically on the right path. That is why the Quran emphasizes on taqwa, means be careful not to make a wrong decision. And this trust also is I'm just concluding and wrapping up, is the option of choosing or making the right choice, choosing what's wrong, what it doesn't have any reality. Watch out for it. That is why the Quran is drawing our attention to the importance of this matter, rather than comparing me as a human being with the mountains, or, I mean, this is a figure of speech. We have to understand that. Why I emphasize on this, that it's a figure of speech, that in some commentators on the Quran, they make, I mean, something unnecessary explanations about it, which is not very fruitful, useful for us. Thank you.
Alhamdulillah, thank you. That was a good understanding of what the Supreme Trust about our human choices, our consciousness, our decisions that we take, free will, to be watchful of it. So it's like a warning. And I like the figurative speech that you spoke about in terms of the verses where it mentions about the mountains, huge mountains. So there's no comparison being made, but it's to warn us about that, hey, human beings, watch out, you have been given the free will. So keep track of it. Use your conscience in that, the choices that you take. All right, inshallah, I think we can stop here for today, inshallah. And we'll continue with the last few phrases next Sunday, inshallah. Thank you, everyone, inshallah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Wa akhiru da'wahum alhamdulillahi